If your forehand lacks consistency, it's really important that you understand that there is no perfect technique and there's no right or wrong way to hit your forehand. What it tells you is that you're not able to control the angle of your racket face at the moment of contact relative to your swing speed and your swing path and the flight of the ball that you're dealing with. It's all about improving that contact point. But what you have to do is you have to work backwards from the contact point, because there are normally underlying problems, things that are causing you to have a poor contact. And that's why in this video, I want to explain the 4 most common underlying problems that cause lack of consistency on the forehand, because once you know what they are, you can start to work on correcting them. So hopefully you find the video helpful. If you do, it'd be awesome if you give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel before, it's much appreciated if you could do that as well. The first underlying cause of inconsistency on the forehand is one of the most common problems that I see, but the good news is it's also one of the easiest things to fix because it's poor shot selection. A lot of players have an inconsistent forehand because they're going for the wrong shot. They're basically trying to be way too aggressive, either too soon in a rally or just way too aggressive. They're trying to hit the ball too hard when they don't have the ability to execute that shot on a consistent basis. It's tricky because you watch good players play, you watch professionals, they get a short forehand and they crush it. But what you need to understand is that the tactics that you use within a point, within a match, are based on the shots that you can execute consistently. If you can't execute a shot 8, 9 times out of 10, then you just shouldn't go for it in a match situation, especially if it's the type of shot that you can only hit 2, 3, 4 times out of 10, because that means it's definitely going to be a losing shot. So the first thing to do, analyze your game, become aware. Are you missing forehands because you're going for too much too soon? If you are, very easy to fix. Maybe the second most common underlying cause of inconsistent forehands is late preparation. When you watch the vast majority of players, they are late to prepare, and because they don't get set up in the right position, it then throws everything else off and causes a number of other issues with their technique. So again, you want to record yourself and you want to try and identify, are you preparing late? Depending on your level, you want to be doing a split step. So are you doing a split step? Are you landing it just after your opponent makes contact? And then as soon as your feet hit the ground, are you then immediately starting to move into a unit turn? And if you're not doing those things, then that should be an absolute priority to work on correcting that problem. And I'm going to place a resource down in the description to help you with fixing your late preparation. The third underlying cause of inconsistency on the forehand is setting up in the wrong position. So yes, you need to be prepared and set up in time, but you also need to be set up in the right position. A lot of players have a habit of getting too close to the ball. Some players set up too far away from the ball and end up reaching, but that's a very small percentage. Most players tend to get much too close to the ball. And then a lot of players also either don't move forwards appropriately or they don't move backwards appropriately. So they're trying to hit shots from unrealistic positions, often taking them up around shoulder or around head height, which is a really difficult shot, which again leads to lack of consistency. So it's really important that you focus on your preparation in terms of positioning as well, trying to recognize the flight of the ball. Is it going short? Is it going deep so you can move forwards or back? And then thinking about getting the spacing, making sure that you're not getting too close to the ball. And again, I'm going to place a resource down below that's going to help you to address that side of things. The fourth major underlying cause of inconsistent forehands is poor timing, hitting the ball late. Now, what's important to understand is that often players are hitting the ball late because they aren't preparing quickly enough or because they're setting up in the wrong position. So if that applies to you, you have to fix that stuff first before you even have a chance of developing good timing. But even if you do set up in the right position, timing is still very challenging for a lot of people. It's basically one of the hardest things in tennis, and it's what separates the different levels of player, because every single ball that you deal with is different, so you have to adjust your timing on every shot. You have to start your swing at a slightly different time, and then you have to adjust your swing path accordingly. So most players get limited on timing because of their hand-to-eye coordination, not being able to read the flight of the ball accurately enough, or not having the coordination in order to make the adjustments. So in addition to the practice that you do on court, kind of really thinking and visualizing when you need to start your swing and trying to get the contact point in an optimal position out in front of the body, I find that most players also need to train train and work on improving their vision and their coordination. And if that's something that you would like to learn how to do, I'm holding a free live workshop pretty soon where I'm going to be teaching players how to use brain-based training to improve their hand-to-eye coordination, to become more skillful so that they can develop more consistent forehands and they can basically improve every other aspect of their game. So if you'd like to learn more about that workshop, I'll place a link down in the description. Click on that, it'll take you to a page where you can learn more and potentially register. Okay, hopefully this video has been useful for you. Developing consistency, there's no magic tricks or tips or anything like that. It's all about analyzing what you're doing wrong and fixing the underlying problem. So record yourself, get good data, find out what you're doing, and then create a plan to try and address it. And I'll place resources, like I said, down in the description to help you with some of the things that I've talked about in this video.